I am on my way home from work on Wednesday. It is now a little after 5, and I thought I'd take the time to record another archery vlog. This is archery vlog number 7. Last night, while I was shooting arrows at the back of my house, at the hay bales that I have there, I decided what I was going to do was to set a specific number of arrows fired as a sort of a practice regimen. Normally when I go out there, I don't even think about it. I just shoot until I'm done shooting, which can be anywhere between, 1 hour to 5, depending on how I am emotionally. And, just do my thing. But I've decided that probably the best thing for me to do is just to have, like, sort of a, not a training schedule, but just sort of a set parameter that I should abide by. That way, my practice has a little bit more purpose. If I know I only have 100 arrows to fire, then I have to be paying attention to what I'm doing a little bit more, and that's exactly what I'm planning on doing. So now I have it set to do 100 arrows. That's 20 sets of 5 arrows each, because my quiver holds 5. I have 5 arrows, so I shoot 20 rounds of my quiver, and then I'm done. Yesterday when I was doing this, I once again came up with a new knock point. Excuse me, not a knock point, but an anchor point for my hand. And it seemed like it was working, but once again, like I said previously, I've had different knock points, or different anchor points, that work for a while and they stop, or they kind of work but they don't. So this one's definitely different, and the only reason why this one is definitely different. The only reason why I think this one might be effective is because I think, if I remember correctly, and I won't know until I'm actually firing the bow, that I'm sort of setting up the arrow to go down the path of my sight. I know that's kind of strange to explain, but I'm not looking down the arrow. I'm looking at the target, so I'm using instinctive aiming. But when I draw back, it's like I'm sort of putting the arrow in front of my right eye, kind of. So it's sort of going in the direction that I'm looking. Now, I can't say that is the case, because when I'm drawing, I'm touching like right around here with my thumb, so you can see where my fingers are, right? So the arrow, which is coming out, is going this way. So it's sort of maybe underneath my eye would probably be a better place, a better descriptor of what I'm doing. But that seemed to have worked really well yesterday. Now, granted, it was something I just sort of stumbled across because I was trying to do the touching of the corner. You pull back, and this is where I was doing. I tried this, and that worked for a little while. Then it stopped. I tried this. I was back here before I even went near all of this stuff. So I'll find out today. But the idea of this vlog rather, was just to discuss the concept of the set parameter. I have 100 arrows that I am going to fire, and in that time I have to be sure to make sure every arrow counts, that every time I fire it, I'm trying to correct what I'm doing and making sure that I'm doing the appropriate process, that I have the right stance, I'm gripping the bow correctly. When I draw, I'm doing it smoothly. When I release, it's a good release, that kind of thing. All of that information will need to be applied because I only have a limited number of arrows that I get to fire. So that's the idea. That's exactly what I'm planning on doing. And I did it yesterday, and I'm going to do it today, and hopefully if that works, then when I'm not at the range and have, a bunch of time to just sit there and fire arrow after arrow and then eventually get to the point where I'm frustrated, the training or the practice will be a positive reinforcement rather than a potential negative one. If I'm firing arrows for 3 or 4 hours at a time, and let's say for the point of math that it takes me 10 minutes to fire 100 arrows. That's 10 minutes to do 20 rounds. Which, it probably not, but I'm just saying. That means that in the course of an hour, I've fired 300 arrows. In the course of a 3-hour period, which is the average of the time I spend at the range, I'm close to 1,000 arrows. So even though there is a larger number of those arrows, I wouldn't say a lot of them, but I'd say probably about 1/3 of them are most likely arrows out of frustration rather than arrows out of learning. I'm firing and they're not going where I want them to, and the next one is, the frustration is set in, and it's distracting me from focusing on what I'm supposed to be doing, and thus we're looking at a situation where it's not actually useful or a helpful process. So I'm hoping that with these 100 arrows that I fire, I'll take a little bit more time. It'll be a little bit more important each shot. It'll give me an opportunity to really start noticing or focusing on things because of the limitation. So that was it. That was just something I wanted to share with you guys. That is my plan. No one has told me to do that. It's just I came up with that on my own, thinking it might be a positive thing. And so there you go. All right, so I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you all later.